Hey, in this 6 CSS video tutorial, I'm Code with Devil. We are doing CSS background for beginners. Just as the CSS background, the name suggests, background ensures that whatever you are styling stays at the back behind some of the HTML elements. Shorthand property for color, image, position, size, repeat, origin, clip, and attachment. We'll illustrate each one of them. If you are an expert in background, you can also check on my CSS advanced background tutorial. For color, for example, in my external CSS, so this is the syntax. So we set the property name and value in the curly braces. Background color, you separate by semicolon and assign a color by the color name or other schemes of color I taught you in the previous tutorial. You save and refresh, background become red. To style, for example, heading 1 stays at the back of the sure when you are using the background colors, it should blend the color theme of the website or other HTML elements like this text. Want to use opacity, have two background in different HTML elements. Want to add another property we call opacity. It reduces the intensity of the color, which runs from 0.0 to 1.0. For example, in 0.1 transparent, for save and refresh, 0.8. That's how opacity works. For background image, the syntax keyword background image, as usual, you separate by full colon, specify the URL, the keyword URL, and the URL path itself will go inside the round brackets in a double quotation or single quotation marks. An image on desktop, in tutorial folder, assets and images, write assets / images / bg dot jpeg. So that image is there. So black and the text are black. Image you are using should blend with the text. For instance, the color of the text to be white so that they blend. I've maintained for the background color in case maybe you are uploading and this image may be absent or may not be supported by the browser the user is using. Then the browser will prefer using the background color property. You can assign this background to any of the HTML you want. For example, I want it to remain in the heading 1 only. So that's how it will look like. So it will only blend inside the heading 1 and wherever you want to. I will skip to repeat first before I continue with position and size. I've used a smallest image here, honey.jpg. By default, when you see on the browser, it is repeating itself. It's just one image, it is repeating itself to fit the body content. Now, if you want to customize this one, background repeat, the value is repeat. So this is the default value, no repeat. So if you assign no repeat, then this image, it will not repeat. We have other properties like repeat X. We are meaning that this image should repeat horizontal or row-wise on X-axis. For Y, the image will repeat vertically on Y-axis. For repeat, it has raised the default repeat X horizontal way, repeat Y vertical way. No repeat, the default spacing, they have some margin and padding. In round, they squeeze on each other without any margin. Initial is the default repeat also. In practice on these other properties. Our background position sets the position of a background image beginning from X to Y to this space. First you write the property background position. Keywords like center resets the image on 50% X and 50% Y. The left and the right margin, bottom margin, they are all set to 50%. Top center. Top center means this image have 0 margins at the top and at the bottom, but on the left and right you have 50. Top right, at the top margins you have 0 margins and it should align itself toward the right of the screen. Just pure English there. You can play around with all kinds of corners in the screen. You can use pixels, for example 300 pixels. So if you just leave it like that, then by default it will assume that both x and y position is 300. What will happen if you add another value, for example 100 pixel, you will assign 100 pixel on the y axis. So that's how that image will be. Still use percentage, 40%, 20%. So 40% on x and 20% on y. Other values are like the ones that I want you to practice on your own. The left top, left center, left right. Just go and practice on your own. I've just automated all the properties, 50%, 50%, and 775, 100, and the initial. So initials inherits the parent property. So go and play around with all these properties. If you find any difficulty, kindly just comment in the comment section or contact me via the WhatsApp number on top of your screen or my email in the comment section. For background size, it sets the size of background image containing a certain HTML element. For instance, I have created a dummy div. The inside text image is here, and I have assigned the height and width property with the border 2 pixels solid black, and assign the image inside that div. So I want to use the background size property. Default value is auto. So this one will set the size of the image in its original state and use the values of x and y. MSI 200 pixel on x, 100 pixel on y. If you assign a one value, then it will automatically assign to y. By resize, it is resizing this image by 200 pixel on x, y pixel, 100 pixel on y. We have other values like cover. Cover will resize this image to fully cover the content of the div. If I refresh from here, this image will fit itself in that div. I've said auto is the default use of values in pixels, and if you assign one value, then it will take y as 200 pixel. Also you can also use percentage, that, and cover, contain, initial. For background origin is a property that allows the background image to begin from the upper left corner of that div. For instance, the default value is padding box. This image, the white one, begins from the upper left corner of this div. Content box, careful here. So the image will begin with that padding of the content. The content are the texts inside the div. Padding box, you can see that background image. Border box, it starts right away from the border. The content, it begins with the padding of the text. For background clip is a property that shows how long will the background extend within the element. A default value for it is the border box. When I refresh, the background image that is black will fit itself inside the content of the heading 1 here. Padding box, it will camouflage with the padding of the content. You can see the yellow. Just here, if I click, what is happening? Padding begins, you see, within the border, the content. The background attachment, it allows you to customize if the background image will be able to be scrollable with the content itself or not. The default value is scroll. Scroll will just maintain everything as it is. Keyword fixed. So for fixed, when I refresh, you will see only the texts are scrolling, but the image is fixed. Lastly, you can use the shorthand property. You just write the keyword background and use one of these properties, not necessarily using all of them or in the order of their appearance. For example, I may just use color red. So by default, the background color is red, then space, and the background image, that is my URL, fixed as the attachment. Repeat property, 4 of them. If I scroll, you will see the text scrolling, the image is fixed. That's all about CSS background, and in the next CSS tutorial we shall do CSS borders. For beginners, stay tuned by remembering this, that education is not received but achieved.